Right, good morning world. It's Chris here with Rose Ironworks. Just arrived on site this morning, and a lovely sunny Birmingham morning down in the markets area of Digbeth. And this morning's job, we have got a steel fire exit door to fix. Basically, the client gave me a call a couple of weeks ago to say that they couldn't open it. Not able to operate as you would with the fire exit. They have to do a burst test every week, just check everything opens easily, and the hinges have completely seized up. Been here since, had a look, and the client actually has ripped one of the hinges off the bottom of the door. So the hinges that are fitted are these bullet hinges, steel weld-on ones. The job is literally just by the side of me here. I've just pulled up, so I'm just waiting for the client to open up. So what we're going to do is basically not only replace the three hinges, but the bottom of the door is rotten as well. So we're going to have to, once the hinges are replaced, we can then lift the door off, get it on some trestles, have a look to see what extent of tin worm has been munching at the bottom of it, and make some patch repairs. We're going to give some grease all the new hinges once everything's cooled down as well. Now, it's been a while since we've done one of these doors, and sometimes they can be a real pain to basically rehang, because they usually come from the factory as a set already in the frame. Everything's been laid out on the bench flat, horizontal, and welded up. Obviously in the vertical position we've got also. So we're going to probably put some wedges in the door around the frame, just to hold everything in place. Do most of the work with the door shut to start with, and what we're actually going to do as well is to stop the door moving, because obviously I'm going to be welding the new hinges on. There's going to be some considerable expansion and contraction going on. We're going to leave the old hinges in place as much as we can and use them as our jig, effectively. So yeah, so let's give us a bit of time. I'll get set up, go and see the client, and then I'll come back to you in a little while and show you some progress. So see you shortly. Right guys, so we're on site, got set up here, just take this earplug out. We're just now going to do the repair work to the fire exit. So this is the door in question, got some lovely graffiti on it. So we've got these bullet hinges here. We basically started cleaning back material from the original welds. The top one's still okay, actually, it's just seized. Middle one, starting to rip off on the other side, down on the other side of the weld down there. And the bottom one, as you can see, has already been ripped off completely. So we've got a nice old gap there, so it's completely seized up. So I've put some wedges in the door at the bottom, two at the bottom, one at the side, just to hold position. But what I'm going to do is basically replace these one at a time, and that way we should maintain the position of the door in the frame. Okay guys, right, so we're making progress. Got the door off. Hinges are all done. Bit of a pig to get the door off, because obviously there's a bit of expansion and contraction, but new set of hinges on the frame, and then we'll move you down here and you can have a look at the state of the bottom of the door, which is the next bit. So as you can probably see from that, we've got a bit of the old tin worm going on here. Let's move you a bit closer. He's stuck to the van at the moment. So yeah, looks like someone's had a go at this before. Just all the melted. Just what you want to find when you're going to do a load of welding is someone's packed the door with foam. So yeah, we're going to have to try and do as best a job as we can. Unfortunately this got all bent when I tried to lift the door off, because it was a bit tight. So yeah, it's just basically going to try and make as best a job as we can of this. It's not going to be easy. I'm just going to try and replace this bottom strip with a new piece, and then maybe try and cap some of this out. But yeah, it's also so thin. I suppose what the real thing you'd do is you'd probably chop it back and put a new skin in completely. but it's going to be really difficult with all this foam in there. Bit of a fire hazard, to say the least, but we shall see how we get on. It feels pretty good under here, all the way along that bit. It's pretty good. Just starting to break a bit there. This is quite solid. We just need to bend that back. Corners ruptured. You can see there's lovely layers of tin worm goodness in there. Yeah, and I think the rest of the door is actually pretty sound. Just have a look round here. Yeah, top. So now we're going to start opening up the bottom of the door with the grinder using a zip disc. The type I really like to use are the Abrax 1mm. Really fast, really accurate, and they actually last quite a long time as well on this thin stuff. So it's just a case of get a nice straight line across the bottom of the door with the spirit level, mark it out with a Sharpie, and then just follow down, cut through some good material, and as you'll see as we go, just ripping out this old stuff. And in a minute, when I open up the door, you'll see that the bottom of that door, where the foam is, there's actually only a small blob of it in there. I was able to just lever it out and get rid of it, so that was great. Not to find that the whole thing was full of foam, so that helped with the repair work as well. When you're doing this sort of thing, you just got to be a bit methodical as you go. Take your time. And just work your way around and just keep checking and seeing. You can see there I'm just proddling and poking and just seeing what's what. Opening out the tin worm, and there we go. There's a big piece coming off there. That's all rubbish. There you go. Just try and lever it out. You can also see in the bottom of the door there. There's there's the two spines that run through vertically through the door. Some box section which was in good condition. That was helpful to line up the new steel onto the bottom of the door and keep everything aligned and the thickness correct, because the last thing you want to do is go and put new steel on in the wrong position and not be able to shut the door. So there we go. It's a bit rotten, grommet. Use a lot of bridge tack. So as I'm continuing the project now, I've cut the first piece of steel off some sheet on the door, a bit of 2mm mild steel, nothing fancy. I'm just starting to tack it in using the mini arc. We've got the synergic settings down to about 1.2mm just to keep things nice and cool. It gives me a chance to play around with how the machine works and how it performs. I'm just using normal ER70-6 wire, C25 gas, and I know a lot of you out there are probably saying, well, why aren't you using flux core outside? Well, I haven't got any at the moment, and that's what was on the shelf, so it will do the job for this. Bit of adjustment needed, with the old hammer as usual. Birmingham screwdriver in my world, and we're just going to bounce backwards and forwards, just getting the strip tacks in place, and that way it just keeps things nice and square. And you can see that the ribs inside the door they're in good nick. The end of the door on this side, closest to the camera, that's also tin wormed up, and there wasn't really much I could do about that. So that's just been thoroughly painted on the inside as well, just to try and give it some more life. So yeah, so we're just going to carry on backwards and forwards. Set up there, you can see I've got 3 grinders. I tend to use them for these jobs for speed. I've got my Hitachi set up with the zip disc for doing all the cutting, because that's got a locking switch. My red Hilti grinder, that's got the paddle switch. That's my lenishing machine. That's a good one, which I use at the moment. I'm using Tyrolit discs, 36 grit discs. Really good, really aggressive. Get the material off really quickly, although they're very controllable. And then I've got my battery grinder with the wire brush on, the pipe liner, just for ragging off all the muck and the weld spatter, etc. So yeah, just continue backwards and forwards, working my way around, cleaning things up as we go, and making a good job of things. clear out the gas nozzle, all the crap. Right, I'm going to carry on doing this now. It's going to take me a while. Just before I turn off, I'm just going to bring you in to show you what I'm doing here. It's working my way backwards and forwards. Some of it you can see I managed to get some actual runs, which is alright, but it's so thin on these edges. I'm just going to carry on pulsing down, and then I shall just linish it all off, and it'll look pretty damn good, I think, for a door, bottom of a door. It's always a way these sort of works. They're never ever going to get seen again, and nobody really cares about them, but structural integrity of the door is something that's quite important. So catch you in a little while. Bye.